88, call to order, is called to order. Dr. Lake, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do not.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Andrew. Second?
Second.
Second by Megan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0, and we will go on to our Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like to invite our students from Kennerly, Colin and Hannah, if they would like to come forward to lead us in our pledge tonight.
You guys can stand right up your head.
And tonight we are recognizing Kennerly Elementary, and I will turn it over to Mr. DeAndre Thomas, our principal at Kennerly Elementary, to present our recognitions.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for letting Kennerly Elementary School come and be recognized tonight. So a couple things. One, I would like to say thank you to two awesome students that we have here and two incredible staff members. So Hannah, you want to come on up for a second? And Colin Daragi, let's give them 2 big round of applause. I just want to say thank you to these guys. Oh, here. Perfect. Perfect. So we have 2 wonderful students here that we'd like to recognize. And so a couple things. These 2 students come to school each and every day with an appetite for learning. They are awesome role models. At Kennerly, we have a number of different ways where we can recognize students. And so those are through our Kennerly Kudos and also through our flyer tickets. And I am happy to say that these guys do represent our Lindbergh life skills. They have gotten, they've probably earned a number of Kennerly flyer tickets and at least 1 Kennerly Kudos. Is that correct? All right. And Kennerly Kudos are really hard to come by, so teachers only give out 1 per week, and I know these guys have at least 1. So let's give these guys a big round of applause. I want to say thank you very much for being recognized.
We have a certificate recognizing you as Student of the Month. That's for you. We also have a T-shirt. You can't have enough Lindbergh swag, right? There you go, a T-shirt for you. Colin, we have the same for you as well. We're going to take a quick picture. Congratulations to both of you. So we're right here in front of this. If Johnson right here is going to take our picture. Yeah, there you go. Hold it right there. You go.
We'd also like to recognize 2 incredible individuals that are part of our Kennerly team. So let's start with Mrs. Kelly Reuter. You want to come up, Mrs. Kelly Reuter? And then also Mrs. Jessica McCarthy. You want to come up as well? So Mrs. Kelly Reuter is our librarian assistant. Not only is she our librarian assistant, but she's also one of our, thank you. A whole lot of things. Also one of our building assistants. So she does a wonderful job with making sure that students have an opportunity for reading pieces, and then also that's supporting our students when it comes to supervising them out on the playground, in the cafeteria, and everywhere. So what she does for our school community is irreplaceable. So thank you very much, Mrs. Reuter.
So what we have for you is a certificate recognizing you as Support Person of the Year, and then we also have a $30 gift certificate for you for our online Spiritware store. So we get to pick something out. There you go. Congratulations.
And then next up for our 2022-23 school year teacher of the, Kennerly's Teacher of the Year is Mrs. Jessica McCarthy. Was Mrs. Bangard, yes. Big round of applause. So just some highlights of Mrs. McCarthy and the things that she's been a part of, which is part of our Lindbergh reading team. Our Lindbergh curriculum writing team. Thank you very much. Also with working with standard-based grading and then also with assessments. Is that correct? So last year, Mrs. McCarthy was our 5th grade teacher, but this year she is now our assistant principal, administrative intern, and she has been doing a wonderful, remarkable job. So thank you very much, Mrs. McCarthy.
Jessica, we have the same for you, recognizing you as Teacher of the Year, and we also have that $30. Congratulations. We're going to do a quick picture. Congratulations.
And thank you very much.
And are there any Kennerly student representative advisory members in attendance tonight? Nope. Okay, all right. Well then, we usually take a short break to let our people who are here for recognitions feel free to leave. Unless you want to stay for the business portion of the meeting, you're more than welcome.
You don't, really.
5.0 consent resolutions, we have none this evening. 6.0 citizen communication regarding agenda items, there are also none. We will move to 7.0 communications, and we will start with 7.01 calendar of events. Ms. Vetter.
Thank you. So December 21st through January 2nd is our winter recess, so there will be no school. The district offices are also closed except for December 21st and January 2nd. December 26th, the Board of Education candidate filing ends at 5 p.m. School resumes on January 3rd. We have a few Board Advisory Committee meetings coming up in January. Teaching and Learning is on January 9th. Facilities Advisory is January 10th. And the Student Life Advisory is on January 11th. We will have no school on Monday, January 15th, and our offices are also closed in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. January 16th at 5 p.m. is the Finance Advisory Committee. We will be back here for a board workshop at 4 o'clock, and then our regular board meeting at 7 p.m. on January 18th. Both of those are open to the public, and we always encourage everyone to attend.
Thank you. Report of meetings. Does anyone have any state, parent group, or other meetings to report from the past month?
Yes. Sorry for all the talking. I attended the SSD Governing Council meeting. We had an update from the PAC, which is the parent group, just talking about how they want to basically improve relationships with the Governing Council, so just a little bit more communication between parents that are involved with SSD and all of the school districts that SSD use it, or all of the school districts that use SSD services. We also talked a lot about their SSD strategic plan, and they focused mostly on two-way communication, effective data sharing, and decision-making based on evidence-based practices. So they talked a lot about responsive learning environments and then systems to create a better environment and learning opportunities for their students. We looked at some of their data on their budget. And so they had 4 main goals in their budget, which was equity, staffing, curricular support, and facilities. So they're continuing to work through that, and I will give more updates on their strategic plan as they come.
And I don't know if anyone else received the email, but they appointed Dr. Macklin as their ongoing superintendent.
Thank you.
So I attended a couple different band concerts in our new auditorium at the high school. It was a lot of fun to see the students use that space, and the bands sound awesome, so go Lindbergh bands. And also the Winterfest at Concord, had a lot of fun seeing family there, and there's a picture of me somewhere building an ornament with beads. It's a master craftsman, so it was a good time.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we will move to 7.03 announcements. Ms. Vetter, again.
Thank you. I'll be talking a lot, I apologize. So we have 2 announcements, the candidate filing dates. So filing for the Lindbergh Schools Board of Education election began on Tuesday, December 5th, and will continue through Tuesday, December 26th at 5 p.m. 2 positions are available for 3-year terms. Candidates must file in person at the St. Louis County Board of Elections office. The address is 725 Northwest Plaza Drive in St. Anne, Missouri, 63074. No filing will take place at the district office, so please check the district website for more information. I'm not done. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, we want to just take a moment to recognize our student representative, Adam Spree. Yes, very much. Please give him. So as his term as student representative to the Board of Education comes to a close, the district and the Board of Education would like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude for his outstanding service to Lindbergh schools. During his term, Adam has played a vital role in the development of the student representative position. His creation of the new Student Board Representative Advisory Committee has provided students in each of our schools with a meaningful way to share their voice and have a direct connection with the board. This initiative has fostered a stronger sense of community and collaboration. In addition, Adam's monthly reports to the board have consistently delivered comprehensive information about student accomplishments, needs, and experiences within our district. And during meetings, Adam is an active listener, engages thoughtfully, asks insightful questions, and shares his unique perspective as a Lindbergh student. Throughout his tenure, Adam has extended his commitment beyond the expected duties, serving on our Teaching and Learning Board Advisory Committee, as well as participating in various committees and task forces. His dedication and insights have helped inform decisions that contribute to the ongoing success of our education initiatives. As Adam transitions from his role and prepares to graduate from Lindbergh High School next semester, all of us on the Board of Education extend our sincere appreciation to him for his exceptional service. We're grateful to have had him sit with us at the dais, and we wish him continued success in all his future endeavors. So thank you, Adam.
7.04, review of upcoming Board of Education media agendas. Ms. Vetter.
Yes, thank you. We meet again on Thursday, January 18th at 4 p.m. for a board workshop, and then 7 p.m. for our regular meeting. The workshop will include a Compass report, recap of Prop R expenditures, and a Student Success Ready Network accountability dashboard update. The regular Board of Education meetings tentative agenda items are regular business items, announcement of board candidates and candidate forum, any new policy reviews or updates, and Long Elementary School is scheduled to be here for recognitions. As always, these meetings are open to the public and patrons are encouraged to attend.
Thank you. 7.05, we have no Board of Education member appointments this evening, and we will move on to 7.06, the MSBA Board Report.
Welcome to the December edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. We begin with a look at the 2023 MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with MASA and MOASBO. This year's event was once again held in Kansas City. MSBA President Ruth Johnson got the conference off to a great start during the first general session. During her remarks, she shared the story of her transformative journey through public education and how school board members make journeys like hers possible.
Each of you, as passionate members of your local school boards, holds the key to that transformation for your students. Your belief in their potential, regardless of their background, can change the course of their entire lives. You possess the ability to pave the way for brighter futures, offering hope and opportunities where none seem to exist. Education is the great equalizer, breaking down the walls that social and economic hardships build. It provides a platform for dreams to flourish, talents to be nurtured, and potentials to be realized. As members of the school board, we are the gatekeepers of this transformative power, able to shape educational policies and programs, able to that level the playing field and other genuine opportunities for all.
ABC News veteran and creator and host of What Would You Do, John Quinones, was the keynote speaker for the second general session of the conference. His presentation detailed his odds-defying journey and celebrated the life-changing power of education.
Yes, today I wouldn't be the man I am today had it not been for the education I received in public school and then in college at a time when all the odds were stacked against me. And then along came my first hero besides my mother and father, and it was my English teacher. My English teacher, Mrs. Gutierrez, in 10th grade at Brackenridge High School, when everyone else had told me, you're not college material, you know, no one in your family has ever gone to college, you speak with a funny accent, you don't have any money, your grades aren't all that great. When those teachers, you know, what gives you the audacity, John Quinones, to think you can go to college? When those teachers told me that, my high school English teacher, Mrs. Gutierrez, did the opposite. She said, Johnny, I love the way you write your essays in English class. I love the way you tell stories. Have you thought about journalism?
Missouri's 2024 Teacher of the Year, Greg Kester, spoke during the conference's third general session and banquet. Kester is a social studies teacher at Potosi High School in the Potosi R3 school district. He said that when people wonder about the status of our state and nation, the answers we are looking for are right in front of us.
The test of a nation's status is the quality of its citizenry. And I have good news. My country is full of good quality citizens. I'm staring at a group of good quality people right now, and I can prove it. What do you call a person who runs for an elected office that does not pay? Now that sounds like a school board member, but at the core, it is really just a quality person. It's the key attribute to the best quality people is not their patience, not their ability to forgive the eternally unhappy, but their capacity to love and to serve. It is easy to love one's spouse, one's family, one's friend, and one's neighbor. The capacity to love and serve in this instance in which I speak is love for what I refer to as the generalized other, which is much more difficult. The generalized other is the person that you may never meet, the person whose name you will never know, or the kid attending your school district that you will never see. It is this ability to love and serve that is required of elected school board members every day. This love and service is a reflection of people of quality and citizens of virtue. These are the people who run for an office, not to build a resume, not for personal gain, but to serve their neighbor, their community, and the children in their local public school. It is a great thing, this thing we call public service.
In addition to the outstanding general sessions, the conference featured more than 70 concurrent sessions on a wide range of topics, Missouri's premier education trade show, the Education Expo, MSBA's student showcase of public school programs, and much more. MSBA's Delegate Assembly also met in conjunction with the annual conference to establish the position statements that will guide advocacy work throughout the coming year. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thank you for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and thank you for your dedication and the amazing work you've done throughout all of 2023 to ensure all students succeed. We'll see you again in January of 2024 for the next MSBA Board Report.
Thank you, Colin. We'll move to our 8.01 cabinet updates, and we'll start with Dr. McKinney.
Our group did not have an in-person meeting. We had an online meeting in which the personnel report was sent and reviewed by members, and we will meet in January.
Thank you. And Joelle?
This week we had our finance committee meeting. It was last week, wasn't it? I'm confused in my board meeting dates since this is Tuesday. At the finance committee meeting, we always go over the finance items that are on the board agenda. We discussed those in detail. We also had a special guest that's in our audience today. Jason Terry from Gilmore Bell, our bond attorney, came to our finance committee meeting, and he talked about the process and the resolution that's on the table tonight for the board, and just the steps that go around a bond election, and our compliance parameters that we have to work through. So he was really welcome with committee, very easy to talk to, and they had a lot of questions, so I appreciate his attendance. The other item we talked about was our fund balance December report, which we got 2 tax payments from St. Louis County last week, and so we're waiting for a final one, which is our big money for the year, and then we'll draw on that all year. So it was a good meeting. We also had our facility meeting. This is the time of year when we're working with our buildings on their operating capital, not bond money, but just operating capital projects that happen in the summer. So Scott's gearing up what's going to happen with his team in the summer, and principals are gearing up with maybe some changes in their building, like taking down walls and putting up walls and changing around classrooms. In fact, Dr. Lake and I and Scott have been going around the buildings and meeting with them in person. So we talked a little bit about that process. We talked about Prop R that's ending. We talked a little bit about the next prop that's beginning. We shared some information with them about the sidewalk partnership that we're real proud of with our municipalities. And we'll meet again in March. We moved our meeting to March. As we just met, we didn't tell you, not your fault, because it was so soon to this one. So we'll meet again in March. And they had a lot of questions around the bond issue as well. We did get some finance topics going in that group, so it was a lively discussion.
Thank you. And Dr. Sparks isn't here this evening. She usually updates us in the Friday packet on her meetings. I do know that Teaching and Learning discussed grade level field trip experiences across the district, so that all kindergartners go on X field trip. All first graders will go on this one. And so we kind of looked at ideas teachers proposed and talked about which ones, kind of tied to the curriculums and which ones didn't and things like that. So, all right. And we will move to our student report. Adam, your last one.
All right, so to start us off, I just have some high school recognition. So our STL CAP students recently participated in an engineering competition at the Gateway Arch, National Park. Basically, they were challenged with kind of a civil engineering issue, and they ended up taking 3rd place overall, along with some other students from other schools. So it was great to see that collaboration, also that success for our students. Our esports team took home numerous top 5 titles within the region, and then one of our JV teams actually took home the championship, which is also incredibly exciting. And then our cadet teaching class recently hosted a free STEM night at the high school. I know that a lot of people really enjoyed that, and it definitely engaged a lot of our elementary schoolers. And then similarly, our HOSA chapter at the high school hosted a mini med academy where students participated in a variety of medical and science-oriented activities, ranging from flower dissections to science demos to just all sorts of different things. I know they made oobleck, which had a lot of kids excited. And as one of the organizers for that, I can definitely speak to how much the students enjoyed it, and I think they're really excited to continue it next year. For our orchestra and band students, all state auditions were recently held, and I believe we had 7 orchestra students and 10 students from our band qualify for that. So also really exciting. We had 3 students qualify for the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Conference, which will be taking place this summer in June, I believe, to kind of foster some leadership skills that they can then bring back to LHS to incorporate in the different clubs they participate in. And then finally, we had a student participate in the Young Writers Award competition. They took home 2nd overall for their piece entitled Light. Some upcoming events really is just winter break. I know tons of people are excited, especially our high school students amidst final season. So yeah, and then for our student representative board advisory kind of summary, I visited Kennerly students, I believe 2 or 3 weeks ago. As with most of our elementary school ones, it eventually descended back into longer recess and longer lunchtimes. But what I really enjoyed about these students was they provided some interesting solutions that I hadn't heard at other elementary schools. So I brought that back. I think it is in your Friday packets, and it'll also be sent out to the cabinet. And then we also talked about field trips, different learning opportunities, extracurriculars, all that kind of stuff. And while I will be stepping down for our next one as chair, I'm super excited. I know Laura will do an amazing job. And I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank the board, the cabinet, and Dr. Lake for everything they have done this year. Whether acting as a mentor or as a friend, they've just been some of the most amazing people I've ever interacted with. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam, and I've appreciated, your reports have always been so good, and I really liked that you started the advisory at the elementary and middle school levels. I thought that was a great addition. So thank you so much for your service. All right, anyone else? We'll move to action items by consent. We have action items by consent 9.01 to 9.11 this evening. Does anyone wish to remove any of these items for individual consideration? Hearing,
No items need to be removed, but I will abstain.
okay. So we will, do I have a motion to approve consent items 9.01 to 9.11?
So moved.
Motion by Megan. Was that second by Andrew? Any questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And we have one abstention. Motion passes 5-0. 10.0 individual action items. We have two this evening. Our first one, 10.01, is a resolution calling a bond election in Lindbergh schools. I will read the resolution aloud, but first to open discussion, do I have a motion to approve a resolution calling a bond election in Lindbergh schools on April 2nd, 2024?
So moved.
Motion by Matt, second by Julia. And I'm going to read it, so bear with me, it's a couple pages long. A resolution calling a bond election in Lindbergh schools. Be it resolved by the Board of Education of Lindbergh Schools as follows. Section 1. The Board of Education of Lindbergh Schools, the district, finds it necessary and hereby declares its intent to borrow $150 million for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, renovating, repairing, furnishing, and equipping school sites, buildings, and related facilities, as further described below the project, and to evidence such borrowing by the issuance of general obligation bonds of the district in the principal amount of $150 million, the bonds. Section 2. An election is hereby ordered to be held in the district on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, on the following proposition. Proposition R. Shall Lindbergh Schools issue its general obligation bonds in the amount of $150 million for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, renovating, repairing, furnishing, and equipping school sites, buildings, and related facilities, including but not limited to A, improving security and safety district-wide, B, making site improvements for traffic and parking at schools throughout the district, C, remodeling Sparing Middle School and Concord and Sappington Elementary Schools, renovating Truman Middle School, and constructing new gym storm shelters at Crestwood, Kennerly, and Long Elementary Schools. D, constructing a K-12 agricultural STEM learning center at the Concord Farmers Club, and E, refinancing existing leases. If this proposition is approved, the adjusted debt service levy of the school district is estimated to remain unchanged at the current levy of 83 cents per $100 of, 80.033 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of real and personal property. Yes or no? The authorization of the bonds will authorize the levy and collection of an annual tax in addition to the other taxes provided for by law on all taxable tangible property in the district sufficient to pay the interest and principal of the bonds as they fall due. Section 3, the form of the notice of bond election for said election, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, is hereby approved. Section 4, the Secretary of the Board of Education is hereby authorized and directed to notify the Board of Election Commissioners of St. Louis County, Missouri, of the adoption of this resolution no later than 5 p.m. on January 23rd, 2024, and to include in said notification all of the terms and provisions required by Chapter 115 of the Revised Statutes of Missouri as amended. Section 5, the district expects to make certain, this is very long, to make certain preliminary expenditures after the date of adoption of this resolution in connection with the project, and the district intends to reimburse itself for such expenditures with the proceeds of the bonds. The maximum principal amount of bonds expected to be issued for the projects is $150 million. Section 6, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, passed by the Board of Education of Lindbergh Schools this 19th day of December 2023. Well, Dr. Lake, would either of you like to speak on this item?
I think you said it all.
So for clarification, this is a no tax increase.
Well, it's not a no tax increase. No, yes, it's that's good. It's no tax rate increase. So if your home's appraised value goes up, let's say $50,000, then you will pay more taxes, but you don't increase your taxes because of that rate. So the rate stays the same.
Okay, thank you.
And so this just, for new board members, 5-6 years ago when I was hired, there was a discussion of facilities, kind of a 10-year kind of conversation around, got to do this first, and then we got to do the next thing. and we're kind of at that next thing with, the gymnasiums and things at our schools that still have just as they refer to them as the caffeinasiums. And so, and some of our buildings, 3 of those buildings, when they put the additions on, they didn't remodel the existing building. And so kind of bringing all of those buildings to make them feel like they're one building. And then just the safety and security, we always have to be looking to that. And we have some new standards that we implemented and incorporated at our high school that we want to bring those same standards to all of our campuses. And so just lots of things that we got to continue to do. So I would say after this prop, our facilities will be in really good shape and will be set up for more of a maintenance. If smaller projects like we need to do 5 roofs, let's go get $15 million or whatever. So kind of that more of that maintenance kind of, and not these large renovations and remodels that we'll have probably, if we're successful, done for the last decade. So, yeah.
I would be remiss in thanking our financial advisor, Ms. Levon, financial advisor, and Gilmore Bell, our bond attorney. It's not just right at bond time that we talk annually. We work on our finances. We've refinanced debt based on their analysis and saved some money that way. All of those little changes throughout the last 5 years puts us in a position to borrow more money at a no tax rate increase. So it's not just at bond time that I meet with these guys, but it's very often to keep the district in good financial condition. So thank you, guys.
Any other questions? I know we've been talking about this a lot at various meetings throughout the district. Dr. Lake has been presenting whenever he visits schools, and so we've been hearing a lot and asking questions along the way, as has the community. So, right, we had a motion by Matt and a second by Julia, so we will now vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 10.02, Summary of Revisions to the LHS Navigator. Do I have a motion to approve the summary of revisions of the LHS Navigator for the 2024 to 2025 school year as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Andrew.
Second.
Second by Megan. Does anyone have any questions? I mean, Dr. Sparks isn't here, but I'm going to put Dr. Lake.
I just have more of a comment that as I was reading these, I felt like this was a college course selection. This was really exciting, and I think that these are great additions.
I agree. A couple new AP classes, and they were very interesting. All of them.
I'm going to take the comparative government one, so if you can squeeze me in.
All right, so a motion by Andrew, a second by Megan. We'll move to our vote if there's no other questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 11.0 reports. We have no items this evening. 12.0 recess. As we already conducted our executive session, there is no need, and we will move to 14.0 adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn board meeting 1588?
So moved.
Motion by Megan.
Second.
Matt? Second by Matt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Board meeting 1588 is adjourned.